Good morning. This is your stats sensei, Mr. Spensei, and we're going to do an exit ticket. And this is actually where we're really introducing errors, and we're going to refer back to the morning's warm up where we calculated some p values and made some decisions. So it says based on your decision in scenario one. Well, what was our decision? Well, in scenario one, we said, hey, we're going to reject the null. We went through this whole process, calculated a p-value. It was less than alpha, so we reject the null. All right, if we reject, the only type of error that can be committed was type 1. So we're looking for type 1. All right, we know it can't be any of the type 2. No errors could have been committed because the test was run properly. Let's address that. When you run the test properly, you still have random chance errors can happen. So this will never be the answer because we can always have, because of sample variation, we can always have an error occur. So a type 1 was committed or may have been committed. The answer is it may be committed. We didn't necessarily commit it. We don't know if we did. All right. So it's possible that one happened by random chance, but we're not sure that it did. Matter of fact, in this case, we set a p-value of 3%. So there's a 3% or less chance. In this case, our p-value is 0.013. So it's pretty small. All right. So it might have happened, but we're not sure if it did or not. We'll never, ever be sure. So based on your decision in scenario two, well, what was our decision in scenario two? Scenario two, we failed to reject. If you fail to reject, the only type of error could have been a type 2. So that gets rid of all of our type 1. And as we just previously said, there's always the potential for error. There's always a chance it could have happened. So we can't say that it didn't happen. All right. We don't know if it was committed. It just may have been committed. It'll never be was committed. We're not certain because there's always a chance that it was or was not. But if we fail to reject, so our decision was fail to reject, and if we fail to reject, we're only looking at type 2. All right. If we reject like we did in the first one, the only type we're looking at is type 1. All right. If we reject, it's possible of a type 1. If we fail to reject, it's possible of a type 2. Not necessarily, could have been. All right. This says based on your scenario in scenario 2, this should say scenario 3. That's a typo. We're just going to have to fix that real quickly. And it says, what did we do in scenario 3? Well, in scenario 3, we rejected the null. Well, if we reject the null, if you reject, it's one word. It can only be type 1. One word, type 1. So we got to get rid of our type 2s. Type 2s are for fail to reject. So this is not a fail to, this is a reject. There's always a potential of errors. So it could have been, it said no errors could have been committed. No, an error could have been committed. The type of error is a type 1. All right, it says was committed. Might have been committed. All right, might have been committed. It will never be guaranteed that there was an error committed. It was just always a possibility of an error being committed. In this case, our alpha level is 0.05, so we had no more than a 5% chance of making that error based on the way we ran our test. And then it turns out we have a less than 1% based on our p-value. So pretty small chance that we made an error, but there is a chance. All right. There's always a chance that you made an error, but there's no definite, we can't say that you did or did not definitely. All right. Appreciate you watching. Hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.